Hello, and welcome to Hopeful Conversations, brought to you by Robbie's Hope Foundation. I am your host, Kari Eckert. Joining me today is Sloane Simon, a senior in high school from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the 2022 winner of the Hall of Personal Expression. Sloane is part of her high school's jazz band as the vocalist and lead guitarist and performs on weekends at venues around Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Next fall, she will be attending NYU Clive Davis as a freshman. Sloane, thank you so much for joining us today on Hopeful Conversations.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're excited you're here too. Let's go ahead and get started.
Okay.
How were you introduced into the Hall of Personal Expression, and how would you describe the importance and meaning of it from your own personal standpoint?
So I found the Hall of Personal Expression whenever somebody else from Pittsburgh won, and they were posting about it on their website and their social media, and I was like, this is such a fantastic organization. I want to get involved. So I applied the year after, and I didn't really think much of it because, you only get so many yeses in life. I was expecting you guys to just there's a lot of talent in the world, and I wasn't really expecting it to be me. But you guys saw something in me, which was very, very kind. And I ever since I got my first email from Jason, I just knew this was like a thing I really wanted to be involved in. You guys have given me so much, and I'm just really grateful for that.
We are grateful as well. It's been a pleasure to meet you and have you in Denver for your recording session. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Do you want
so
to
much fun.
explain a little bit about winning the Hall of Personal Expression and what that meant?
Yeah, so my mom and I were flown out to Denver, where I got to work with Nick Sullivan, who is a Grammy-nominated producer in Denver, and we recorded 3 of my original songs, including my Hall of Personal Expression winning song, which is titled Drama Queen. And it was the first time I've actually had like a professional studio setting. So it was very interesting to see how all of that is kind of created behind the scenes. And Nick has such a wonderful ear. So it was super special to just hear his input and his suggestions to me as an artist. And Jason stayed the entire day. And it was so lovely. We all just got to sit and bond about just things, and it was really enjoyable. So
it's a special experience, I believe. Nick, his interest in helping young people and just introduce you to that experience can really it's so exciting.
It was so incredible.
So for the 2021 contest that you were the winner, the theme was social media's effect on me. How did you initially approach this theme, and what did you want to make sure you conveyed in your song? Can you walk us through that thought process?
Yeah, of course. So I think social media tends to make things seem a lot better than they actually are. It kind of creates this image of yourself that's curated. You can look however you want online, but deep inside you have emotions and feelings because we're only human. So I feel like the song I wrote for this competition, Drama Queen, kind of encapsulated how I was feeling at the time, because social media can just be this filter, and it could just exit out all of the raw human emotions, and I kind of wanted to include that in the song. So the song is kind of about the battle with yourself and what people say, and kind of just looking past that and finding that confidence inside.
Confidence, so important. Yeah. Curated. I like that word for explaining social media. I often say that my life is perfect filter.
That's a good one.
I like your curated. I like that. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Once you received notification that you won and you were the grand prize winner, how'd you feel?
Oh my God, it was such an honor. It's still such an honor. My mom and I were like both CC'd on the emails, and we were like, how did this happen? Because at the time, Robbie's Hope was posting on the Instagram like all of the other category winners, and
Uh-oh.
there was like the most beautiful dance I've ever seen, and it was just I felt so much with every post, and like the artwork was incredible, and I don't know, I feel like there was everybody had so much to bring, and I just felt very flattered and very honored, and I'm so appreciative of you guys for kind of seeing that in me. It was such a joy.
Do you remember what you did with the money?
Um, I have a savings account and I'm currently saving for college, which is really exciting. I'm moving to New York in the fall, which is unfortunately the most expensive city ever. But if you want to kind of have a shot in music, it's either New York or LA. And I don't want to be too far from my mom. So
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that Robbie's Hope can help you in that. And I applaud you for, as a young person, taking the initiative to have a savings account, especially college in New York City.
well, thank
What do you
you.
think NYU is going to be like?
I feel like it's the program. I've spoken to a lot of people who were also admitted to the same program, past graduates, current students, and the admitted class of 27. Um, and everybody brings something different to the table. Like, there's not one carbon copy of everybody. Like, they're their own individualized artist, whether they're like songwriters or performers or just like entrepreneurs that want to help people make it in music, because the program focuses on like the musical entrepreneurship as well as the creative side. So you have people from like all corners of the world interested in all different aspects of the music industry. And I don't really think I can define myself to a specific category. I think the entire thing is crazy. So it's really interesting to kind of just learn about all of those and hear the insight of everybody. The people are so kind, which is great. Makes me feel a lot less nervous.
Yeah, going to colleges can be scary.
Yes, I'm a little nervous, I gotta tell you. I'm very close with my siblings. My brother lives in DC. My sister lives in Pittsburgh, so I won't even be in the same city as them. But thank God for FaceTime. They're only a phone call away.
Right. Oh, it's going to be so exciting. So let's get back to Drama Queen.
Okay.
In regard to the words behind your song, do you think that other teens feel similarly to some extent, or do you think this is a personal experience?
I hope every time I write a song that somebody who's listening can kind of um, feel how I felt when I wrote the song, or just relate to it. I wouldn't really wish that feeling of being suppressed online to anybody, but like it's with this day and age, it's something everybody more or less has kind of
Pretty universal. Yeah.
exactly. It's very universal. Um, so every time I write a song, I just kind of internalize the feeling that somebody else might be going through the same thing, and I hope they can find comfort or solace in my lyrics. So I I hope somebody who's also kind of struggling with online image kind of can relate. So
Online image. I'm certain there's a lot of young people, male, female, that all just humans that can relate to that.
for sure.
Can you take me through like the process of writing such a song or just writing lyrics? The
So I don't really remember the specific process for Drama Queen, but every song is its own individualized experience. Sometimes I always am writing at least three songs at the same time. Um, or three is such an understatement. I, sometimes I'll start with lyrics. Sometimes I'll have a melody that comes to my head. Um, I'm a huge collaborator. I love working with my sister. She's quite the lyricist. So
Is she? Is she older
she's
or
older.
younger than
She's
you?
older. She's a fantastic writer. She's a CMU grad, so she's still in Pittsburgh right now working, and so it's so nice to have her. But every song is so different. I have so many like notes folders on my phone of lyrics I've always wanted to use, or like voice memos of melodies that I've always wanted to use. And I just got into production, which is its own
Exciting.
roller coaster. But yeah, every song has its own different way of telling it. So it's all very different, but it's exciting. That's what makes writing music so enjoyable for me because there's no set formula for writing a song.
At what age did this all start for you, Sloane?
Oh my goodness. I've always loved to sing. I used to do theater as a kid. I picked up my first guitar when I was 8, so it's been 10 years of writing music and performing out, which is
8 years old. That's like second grade.
yeah, 2nd, 3rd grade, somewhere around there. I fell in love with it instantly, and I wanted to kind of share stories. I would always just write songs about whatever elementary school boy I had a crush on at the time. And like the worst part about being a musician is that you have a melody from whenever you're in like 2nd grade and randomly it'll just come back to haunt you. So I hate to say it, but sometimes that happens too.
Oh my.
But
I am not very creative, so this is fun to just have this conversation and just learn your like thought process
you're
and just
very
your
creative. Do
experience.
not sell yourself short.
Okay. Yeah, I mean all of us are creative, but I'm not musical. I'm not creative in that
No, I
department. So
get
I'm
it. Yeah.
just but I'm curious about it. That's what's so interesting.
It's such a special way to tell a story. So
Telling a story, and we all have stories to tell.
exactly. So
So the lyrics in Drama Queen detailed the detrimental impact that social media has had on your well-being and mental health, especially growing up as a teenage girl in the 2020s. Without discounting your personal experience, do you think you could have approached this theme in a different light? That's a big question.
really, really big question. I think maybe I feel like a lot of the songs I write can be applicable to any kind of theme because the way I view a song is that the way I internalize it might be a different way than somebody else. Like it doesn't seem like it, but songs can have so many different meanings. Everybody kind of pulls their own interpretation of the lyrics, or if they pay attention to the lyrics, I hope they do. But everybody kind of has their own way to resonate with the song. So I feel like if I had a different song written with the same general message, I feel like it could have been interpreted completely
A different way.
differently. Yeah, exactly.
Do you feel like social media could have positive impacts on young people?
Oh, for sure. That's why I met my roommate. So
That's how you met your roommate for
yes.
the next fall?
Yeah, she DM'd me. I also think it's really crazy how you can reconnect with old friends from like middle school or, just like see where everybody is now. And I know like everything's, as I said, curated. It's still interesting to see the way they view themselves.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so tell us about American Idol. That's kind of like, what was that
Mm.
experience like? That and
So
how old were you? Season 19.
I was 16. This was season 19, as you said. This was 2 years ago, I think.
Was it during COVID then?
This was during COVID. So this was their first COVID season, which was cast completely online. I had a Zoom call. I actually was in my cheerleading uniform because I had a game that night and I was on the call in my uniform and
Auditioning.
yes, on auditioning like the way before the golden ticket. There's like a lot of rounds of like auditions you have to get through to be sent to Hollywood.
Oh, I'm sure.
Um, yeah, I was in my uniform. I had to like rush it towards the end, but I made it through the first round of producers and then the second round, and then it was a very long day. But right before I had to leave for the game, they told me I would be on the show. I was not expecting to hear it on the same day. It was crazy. So I went to that game and I was so happy.
You knew.
Yeah, but I
Wow.
couldn't
Did you
tell
have to keep it a
anyone.
secret
Exactly, I
though?
had to keep it a secret. The whole filming process is super secretive. Like when you
How long was the filming process?
I was flown out to California with my mom twice, once for Hollywood and once for my like golden ticket audition. I think in total I was there for 2.5 months. with like a week-long quarantine also because, it was crazy. You were tested every day. Your temperature was checked every day. It was they were very, very smart about the whole COVID thing, and we were in like a bubble. So like we were kept in a hotel, but like the hotel was blocked off to visitors. It was just everybody filming the show.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a really unique experience. Um, I enjoyed it whenever it was the time because I got to meet so many other creatives, and I kind of realized like, wow, like there are so many other versions of myself. Like I've never kind of realized that because Pittsburgh's only so big. I can't meet everybody, but it was really crazy to kind of connect with other artists who kind of had the same love for music that I do. So
Were you one of the youngest on your
yeah, it was the youngest they cast is 15. I had turned 16 like the week before I left to audition. Um it was me and then a couple other girls. One of them was 15. One of them was a little older than I was. I was like the second youngest. And the crazy thing about it is that the girl who was the youngest, we were like doppelgangers. Like we looked exactly alike. It was crazy.
Really?
Everybody used to confuse us on set that she had like a whole foot on me. She's so much taller. So
Oh my goodness. What a fantastic experience.
yeah, it was really interesting to kind of see how everything is conducted behind the scenes. And I've always wanted to be part of a project like that. Um, I would consider doing it again, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to kind of get a grasp on the situation. So
Wow. How often do you perform now?
mm, every
What's your
weekend,
musical life like right now?
Fridays and Saturdays. This Friday I'm working at an engagement party, which is really exciting. I've reached the point where venues contact me first, and now I'm doing private events, which is very cool. Um, I was also hired for somebody's graduation party, like their high school graduation. But the funny thing is that our graduations are on the same day. So my mom
So
was
are you
like,
gonna be able to do it?
"Yeah, of course." My mom was like, "So, do you want a graduation party?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm working." So that was very funny. It's very I love it. It's such a special thing. Um, I like to have a song for everybody, and once I like succeed that mission, I'll be like the happiest person ever. So
Wow. How much is like music like encompassing of your like daily life? And it's probably quite a bit.
it's yeah, that's my life. It's it. Like I go to
Except
school.
you have to throw in a little AP
Oh
calculus.
yeah, I go to school, but I come home. I do my homework. I'm a good student. I do my homework. I come home and I, I do music. Whether it's writing, it's working on vocal agility or technique. Whether it's production, which is a beast I've yet to tame, or just playing around with a guitar and seeing what I can come up with. It's a very time consuming thing. I all of my like textbooks like they have like lyrics in the margins. So so who
It's
knows?
just constantly there.
Constant. It's like my mind is always thinking of melodies and lyrics. So
Wow. So interesting.
yeah, it's
Okay.
it's definitely
So
something.
I'm gonna make a little shift back. Let's
Mhm.
get back to just being a teenager. So are you 18?
I am 18. I turned 18 in October, so I voted.
Oh, you voted. Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
voted.
right after turning 18.
Which was very
That's like every new teenager's like not having to wait 4 years
you
then.
know, it was
What did that
great.
feel like?
I felt like an adult, which was cool. Um, yeah, it was really cool. The day of my birthday, I registered to vote. That was the first thing I did.
Cool. Cool. Quite a privilege living here in the US to be able to vote.
Exactly.
Do you think teenagers and your generation specifically have the power to transform social media into a positive resource and maybe remove some of the detrimental effects that it has?
For sure. For
How do you
sure.
think we can do that?
Um, it's kind of hard though, Because we definitely could, but some people are online are afraid to admit that they're struggling or that they want a connection of some sort. It's social media is a slippery slope because you have people who are very open about mental health and people who are really advocating, and then you have people who want to seem like everything's fine but are struggling on the inside. Everybody kind of has their own internalized struggle, and I think that um, if we're just like kind of open with each other, that's the
Vulnerable.
first step. Vulnerability, exactly. So,
Yeah. How do you think we could remove some of the stigmas like surrounding just that like dilemma that exists in social media?
well, don't Photoshop. It's fake. Just be yourself. If you have something to say it. Don't hide your opinions because you're afraid of somebody else judging you, unless it's like something offensive. Don't do that.
Right, right.
Like, use social media as like a positive place where you can kind of open up or just meet friends or do something nice for the world, give back rather than um, making people feel bad about themselves.
Be real, be authentic. Is it still like a trendy thing for like teenagers to like how many followers they have, how many um re-
Like,
does that make sense?
yes, it is. It is. The one thing I hate about like living in this 21st century is that everything is a popularity contest, especially in high school. Um, it's a scary world to live in, and like I can see how it is hard to kind of look past like strictly numbers because I feel like everybody kind of judges themselves based on who has more or like something like that, and it's just not a good standard to live by.
No, it's really tough to uphold. Do you feel like as you've gotten a little bit older that it's gotten better? Like think back when you were in middle school and social media, what that was like versus now a
Yeah.
senior going off to college.
So if it weren't for me trying to make it in music, I probably wouldn't have social media. I think it's a really
Really?
big time suck also.
Yeah.
And it's kind of wired my brain to think in a weird way. Like now, like I got it when I was in like elementary school because like all my friends had it and like it was so cool to like take selfies and all of that. The golden age. And then it's kind of wired like every teenager's brain to think in like the weird way like, oh, this lighting is so good for a selfie, or like, oh my god, I can't wait for the pictures for this vacation. And like I love taking pictures and I love sharing pictures because you associate memories with pictures, but sometimes it just kind of gets in your head a little too much.
Yeah.
Then you just need a break. But that's life. You just gotta keep moving. But
I know. I don't know how we get through it together and find like a new normal that like we can use social media with a little bit more balance
for
versus like
sure.
just constant and that time suck and just even that need to always see what if you post something,
For sure.
how many likes is it
Yeah,
getting? What are the comments versus just like I think the purpose of social media initially was connections.
exactly. Like Facebook, the whole purpose of Facebook was just to connect with people from your colleges and meet people. And I feel like Instagram and Snapchat and everything else that's kind of sprouted from that have the same purpose, but it's kind of just been like distorted through time
Yeah.
because of the image of whatever people want to be seen as. And that's it's not a good feeling to kind of carry that with you.
Uh-uh. What type of music do you like to listen to?
Oh my god, everything. This is such a
Everything?
different conversation shift.
I know. Well, I was just thinking, like, is there a lot of artists that like talk about social media and some of its effects, like in today's current music? I can't answer that question.
Like, I guess some. Um, yes and no. Okay, so I listen to like everything. Like I listen to a lot of old music because most of my set is like old music. Like it ranges from like Johnny Cash to like Britney Spears. Like I mentioned I had a song for everybody. My parents and my sister have like educated me. They've given me like the whole rundown. I feel very fortunate to have people who love music as much as I do in my household. Um, a lot of I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. I
Are you a Swiftie?
I think she's such a fantastic and strategic businesswoman and
Yes.
such a talented artist. So her lyricism is just insane, especially the last couple of albums. It's so beautiful. Every song.
Are you gonna go be able to see this new tour right now? Have you gone yet?
No, I can't. Which is making me very sad. But I'm actually booked the 2 nights she's in Pittsburgh and didn't realize those were the 2 dates. And I
Maybe you'll see her someplace else. She's still
I feel like it'll be on Netflix sooner or later, but with all of her other tours online. But a little sad, but hanging in there.
yeah.
It's okay.
Sloane, did you know that Jason is a big Swiftie?
Okay, now
Your facial expression just now.
the first thing I say whenever I see him next Thursday, I didn't know you were a Swiftie. Like,
He he has been for
oh
years.
my
Like any
God.
car ride, it's always Taylor Swift when he's
So
cooking in
I'll
the
be sure
kitchen.
to add some Taylor Swift for him to the gala set.
He will
I'm
appreciate
sure
that.
he would. Hope he likes that.
Oh, that's funny. So you listen to just a whole bunch of different types of music. That's how we got onto Taylor Swift.
Yes, I like to listen to everything. My brother listens to a lot of hardcore rap, and he'll send me the songs, and I can still find something that's like really interesting or like a beat that I really like in this song. And I feel like listening to everything is either really good or really bad for an artist. It could be either really good because you get to draw influence from everything, but it's also really bad because you also draw influence from everything. So it's hard to kind of like encapsulate your music into a specific genre. Like my default is definitely like pop, but a lot of the songs that I write have more of like an indie sad girl vibe, you know?
Huh. Okay, so talking about vibe and writing music,
Mhm.
do you have any suggestions for like a theme for a Hall of Personal Expression?
Oh my god, this is
Like
like the
what would
question of
be
all
just
questions.
right?
Um, I feel like I should say something like I can't I I mean, I feel like a really good theme for me is just write or do something that encapsulates you. Like what are you actually actually I'm trying to think of like songs I have and the messages they send and maybe like one of those, but I feel like definitely just showing who you are. Like cuz I
Yeah.
think one of the main things that Robbie's Hope does, and I don't know if you guys realize that you do this, but you made me feel very individual and special. And I feel like that's such a beautiful feeling. And, I feel like I hope everybody can kind of feel that they are also individual and special and appreciated. And I feel like you guys did that for me. So I feel like that's a really strong idea. Like maybe just write about or do something that shows who you are as a
I love that.
person.
You just gave me goosebumps and some tears in my eyes because, like,
Stop.
well, I mean, that's what, like, truly, that is the goal of like Robbie's Hope, like, letting people be who they are
Mhm.
and feel proud of who they are and making connections in the process to others who, are maybe similar to you and maybe very, very different to you. Like, it's all about our stories and our sharing that, having the power to do that, the
It's such
confidence to do that.
You and Jason have something so special. And everybody who I've met from Robbie's Hope, everybody who you've connected me with, and you're so generous, like they all have this lovely kindness to them. And that's not something you really find everywhere. And
Oh,
it made me feel very special. And I hope that I kind of shared that feeling with other people. And I hope they kind of found that feeling in my song, maybe. I don't know. But it's such a special, special group of people.
The world needs more kindness. Thank you. I'm super proud of that and just very honored to have you articulate that so beautifully.
Oh,
It's hard to take a compliment sometimes too. That's something I'm working on. Um, would you recommend submitting to other teenagers to the Hall of Personal
yes,
Expression?
yes, yes. I have a lot of musical friends from my school. I'm part of the jazz band, and they are all musicians. They all write their own music or they compose. It's not always lyrics, but everybody's kind of really creative. So I'm going to suggest to them that they should definitely submit or at least think about it. I feel like it could be very daunting for teenagers to like get an application together and submit it
Yes.
because like college is like when you think of applications, you think of college, and that's such a scary thing for underclassmen, and myself included. So it's fear inducing, but I feel like they have to kind of just take the step and put themselves out there because you never know what it might lead to.
This is very true. Oh, goodness. Well, this has been a fun conversation, and I'm
This was so
really
much
excited that
fun.
I get to see you in person again next week in Denver.
I'm so
This
excited.
episode won't air until after, but good teaser for people to come to our galas in the future and get to
Yes.
listen live to young people like Sloane. Um, we end all of our podcasts with the same question.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm a little nervous now.
No, no nerves.
Okay.
Um, what does the world need to hear right now?
You're doing okay. We're not doing great, but we're doing okay, and that's what matters. We're doing our
I like
best.
that.
So just do your best.
I like that. You're doing okay. Robbie's Hope, we say it's okay to not be okay, but I like you're doing okay. It's a good reminder. Sloane, this has been just so much fun.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so lovely to just catch up and chat. I'm so excited to see you and Jason and the whole Robbie's Hook gang.
Yay, yay. Thank you, Sloane, for joining me today on a hopeful conversation. Be sure to tune in to our next episode. And until then, remember, hold on, pain ends.